Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner. You might be asking, winner of what? Well, in my opinion, this new artifact, Mirage Orb, is hands down the best artifact in Call of Dragons. At least it is going to be the best artifact in Call of Dragons. Now, there are a couple of reasons for that. Let me explain real quick. First of all, magic unit attack, legion attack, damage taken minus 1.5%, and damage dealt plus 1.5%. Looking really solid. However, the real beauty of the artifact, let's first watch it. So you deal damage, there are 3 legions, right? You deal damage, and what happens is you airborne 2 enemy legions near the target and deal extra damage to them. So basically what this artifact does is it deals AoE damage, and on top of that, it airbornes the targets, which means during the airborne, they won't be able to cast artifacts, and they won't be able to cast active skills. Which is insane, because if you played Rise of Kingdoms, like, there are not many crowd control effect in the game. Maybe you can consider silence as a crowd control, but other than that, we don't have stun, we don't have airborne, like nothing like this, right? But if you, let's say, for example, think about League of Legends. If you ever played League of Legends before, you know how important crowd control is. And Call of Dragons is also a game with bunch of CC effect, and CC stands for crowd control. Effects like stun, effects like airborne, basically the things that disable your enemies by doing certain things. And this one deals AoE damage and also applies an AoE crowd control. And damage factor is also, of course, pretty good. There is a target, there is other legions. But on top of that, we have an additional effect. Every time your legion gains a buff effect through a hero skill, they deal 7% more artifact skill damage up to maximum of 21%. This is insane, duration 20 seconds. Like, even without the additional effect, this artifact, in my opinion, Mirage Orb, was already super strong. But on top of AoE damage and AoE crowd control, they added an additional effect, which is, in my opinion, also bonkers. Now, the reason why I mentioned League of Legends is it wasn't just for the crowd control, okay? So back in the day when I was playing League of Legends extensively, one of my favorite heroes to play in the middle was Orianna. And if you ever played League of Legends before, you know where I'm going. Let's take a look at the ultimate skill of Orianna and tell me if it looks similar to anything we know.
Oh, that's huge!
There you go, the 5-man.
Well, I think Mirage Orb is basically the ultimate skill of Orianna, and as a former League of Legends player, I know how important, like how massive that AoE effect is. It basically turns around fights, like it makes you win games or lose games depending on how effectively you are using it. And Mirage Orb, obviously it's not going to be as effective as, let's say, the skill of Orianna, because League of Legends is just a 5v5. So when you airborne 3 targets or more, you are basically winning that fight at that moment. But in Call of Dragons, there are like hundreds of marches. But still, I think, hands down, this Mirage Orb is best artifact in Call of Dragons right now. And definitely, if you are a mage player, or if you have one mage march, I don't care how many marches that you are using when it comes to mages, you need to save your forged artifact keys and maybe even some gems to be able to get this insane artifact. In the following days, if somehow this artifact turns out to be not great, I'm going to give away $50. I am that confident. Mirage Orb, hands down, is going to be the best artifact in Call of Dragons. On the next video, we will probably take a look at the new war paths, see if they're any good or not. I'll see you on that video. Make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss it. Goodbye.